Feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hello and welcome to the video wrap-up show for the Shrimp Tank podcast here in Seattle. I'm Dan Whedon, and I'm joined today by my guest co-host, Lee Heisman. We had a fascinating and fun conversation today with our guest, Dr. Tom Lamar from Anchor Chiropractic. To catch the entire episode, and believe me, you should, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We're ubiquitous. We're all over the place. Find it and listen. You can also find all our episodes on our website at shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle.
Dr. Lamar, thanks so much for coming onto the program today. And I know I learned a lot. And just like Dan said, I recommend listeners listen to your entire podcast on Apple iTunes, of course, iHeartRadio. And most importantly, remember, we are one of the top 3 entrepreneurial podcasts on iHeartRadio, top 3 with over 500,000 downloads. So I definitely recommend our listeners going back. But Dr. Lamar, you know, the world of being a chiropractor, the majority of our country understand what you do, but can you please describe what makes you unique in your practice?
Well, you know, Lee, I think we look at chiropractic a little differently. We're not looking at it as a treatment for back pain or for headaches. Really, we're looking at it from the perspective that we know that when you have a healthy spine and a healthy nervous system, and you combine that with good lifestyle choices, your body, its natural default is to be healthy. It wants to be healthy. It's actually harder for you to be sick and suffering and debilitated than it is for you to be healthy. And so your body wants that. It's the way it wants to gravitate. If you're having symptoms and problems, it's really a sign that there's a deeper problem. And one of the things we do in our office that I think really separates us is we're always trying to go upstream for the patient. I always want to go upstream, and every symptom that somebody has, there's always an intelligent reasoning behind it. The body is amazing. It knows what's going on. If you have pain, if you have muscle spasms, that's a form of protection. It's a form of self-preservation. And so when you start to understand the principles of the human body and how it works, we begin to kind of, I guess, reverse engineer and start to ask questions. Why is it doing that? Why is the body, why do you have pain? Why do you have pain in your leg? Why do you have a weakness? And so we always want to try to figure that out. And here's the key, Lee, I don't always know the answer, but I know enough to know that the answer will reveal itself if we stay in the wrestle. And when we can get a patient that's willing to roll up their sleeves and jump in the boat with us, and we're like, you know what, we're going through this together. I kind of like to say, I feel like a Sherpa. I've climbed this mountain many times. And if you want to hire me, then I'm gonna hike it with you. And I can guarantee you that no 2 hikes are exactly the same. And yet there is a thread of similarity that gives me confidence to move forward. And that's just knowing how the human body works. I'll put my chips on the human body every time over a pill, potion, or lotion any day.
Well, you know, that really, Dr. Lamar, leads into my question. And frankly, we didn't ask this on the show. So everybody go watch the rest of the show because there's a lot of other good questions. But I do a lot of coaching and consulting with CEOs, business leaders, entrepreneurs. And one of the things that often comes up is, I tell them you have to think of yourself as an athlete, because when you're talking about pain and debilitation and all of that, you can't run a business very well if you're in pain and you're distracted by health issues. And so my question for you is, please comment, or I guess not quite, I'm asking you to comment on specifically people who are in business, whether they're running their own businesses, entrepreneur, career, professional career, whatever it is. Talk about the importance of treating yourself in a sense like an athlete and taking care of your body.
I think it was Dan Kennedy, the famous marketer, who said, the worst number in business is 1. And so if you are a small business owner and you don't have the big support crew that can basically run the business without you, you have 1. And if you're out, that's a problem. Here's the one thing that you cannot afford to do. If you are a business owner, you cannot afford to get sick. If you get sick, if you get hurt, you get injured, and you don't have a good enough backup plan, you're hosed. It's over. And so in much the Same way that that athletes go to chiropractors. Many athletes find themselves in chiropractors' offices because they've been injured. And then they find that there's like this silver lining that they may not have been even expecting. And that is the fact that chiropractic, like I said, has nothing to do with back pain and treating pains and symptoms. Yeah, I mean, we do well with that, but the very thing that helps us to help you with that back pain is the very thing that helps us to optimize your system. It's not that we're treating anything, we're just trying to reorganize something that's not working as it's supposed to. If we can reconnect your spine correctly, get that nervous system flowing correctly. One of the things I want to mention is so important is that we chiropractors, oftentimes you'll think you got the brains up here, spinal cord comes down, nerve goes out, and then wherever that nerve goes, that's the affected area. And so if you have a vertebrae that's gone out of alignment, that nerve, wherever that end organ is suffering. That's true. But now we know through research more and more that there is actually that misalignment, that subluxation is sending a message back up to the brain, and it starts to affect your brain. Your brain can only handle so many balls. It's like you're juggling, and you throw one more ball on it. A misalignment, let's say, sends a negative message up to the brain, and you drop the balls. It's all those balls up there in your brain. That's your allostatic load, and your body can only handle so many. In lay language, we call it the straw that broke the camel's back. So, in as much as we possibly can, if I can remove straws from you, you're going to be able to operate at a higher level. And that's going to allow you to stay in the game. Simon Sinek talks about in the infinite game, he talks about, there's finite games and there's infinite games. Well, I would submit to you that business is an infinite game. There is no end to it. You create something that's bigger than yourself, and you get people to join you, to join into that bigger mission, and they all push forward in that same direction. And in much the same way, health is an infinite game too. You can't step on the scale and say, I've arrived. It's all about staying in the game and being able to so your health and your business, they go hand in hand, because you lose one of them and it's over. So that's what I would say.
Well, I think you've said it best, Dr. Lamar. First off, thank you for coming on the show. Again, check out the earlier full 45-minute audio podcast if you can log in and do that. But, for people that want to find you, number one, want to stay in the game longer, mentally, physically as well. And as you said it, the wrestle, right? You're going to stay and you're going to wrestle with it. What was the exact term that you said? It was,
I think, stay in the wrestle. Get in
the wrestle.
Get in the boat and roll up your sleeves and get in the messy middle together and just try to, challenge it.
Now, I loved how you said that, because you're going to stay in the wrestle with all of your clients. How would people get in touch with you and get into the wrestle with you?
Okay. So if you want to wrestle with Dr. Lamar, you're going to go to anchorchiropractic.net. And since you're watching me on YouTube right now, I've got a YouTube channel. Go check it out. And there's a lot of good stuff up there. And there you go. Start right down there in the lower third.
Well, I know I'm across the country, but I'm going to be checking you out now because I really loved everything that you said. And again, I tell all the listeners out there, not only listen to Dr. Lamar, but check out all the repeats and the other shows on shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle, and also wherever you get your podcasts. iHeartRadio, as I said before, we're the top 3 entrepreneurial podcasts in the entire country on iHeartRadio. You can go to Apple Podcast and Spotify as well. And also, don't forget, when you go to our YouTube channel that you're watching now, click not only the subscribe button, but click the notification button, because that's going to give you notifications of great entrepreneurs and business owners like Dr. Lamar today.
So, first of all, Dr. Lamar, thank you very much for coming back. It was your second visit to us. We're going to have you back again. I know. Thanks for your time, your knowledge, and your wisdom. Lee Heisman, this has been a great honor for me. I think we're the first crossover shrimp tank. We should be doing this more often. Thank you. Say hello to everybody back in Atlanta. Everybody, Lee said to hit your notification. Also, if you like this at all, hit like. Do me a favor, hit like, send us your comment. We would love to hear from you. And if you like us on our Facebook page, you can follow us every week with our live stream. We live stream 12 p.m. Pacific every week, every Wednesday on that page. Our next show will be February 22nd. Please join us. Until we see you again, be healthy, of course, be aligned, be prosperous, and of course, have fun. Because for right now, the shrimp is back in the tank. So long.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.